Hiya, hiya. It's a sit down with Joey Reynolds. I think the Reynolds rap is very important because it's every day the way I feel right off the top of my head. It's all ad libbed. And so is this. This is the YouTube version. The YouTube version is done horizontal, the other is vertical. You know, this is the technology that we're living with now that everybody's in the biz. Everyone is in showbiz now, you know. We all got our cameras and our techniques, and we have an influencer. He's got 40 million hits. It's, it reminds me of Jackie Mason. He got 20 million hits, or 30 million hits. He got 10 million hits. Well, somebody ought to hit him with a brick. It's just somebody who's got famous at a bad time. I got famous at a good time, you know, when everybody realized that fame and fortune were really an achievement. Now it's just simply a game of money, economy, and I don't know the whole structure. I don't want to sound like an old geezer because I'm not. I'm not, certainly not. I mean, I'm one of the most adventurous filled guys you'll ever meet in your life. Choke on that one. But you know, God's given me a great gift. I have the gift of bullshit, and I'm able to do that. And so we got a president that's so full of shit. It's coming out of every hole he's got, and now he's got the virus that he shouldn't have because he was immune to it and above it all. I mean, you know. This is like why are we not talking this way? Why are we sitting there pledging our loyalty to a person instead of to a principle? See, what we do is we glean onto celebrities. I mean, I don't know. I worked at 20th Century Fox. Let me tell you about celebrities. These are tin soldiers, you know, all of us. And I worked famously as I was the number one disc jockey in the country. Do you think it made a difference for anybody? The only thing it did was I could make more money. If they had the brains, they would have done to me what they did for Howard Stern, just give him a lot of money. They never gave me a lot of money. But you know what? I've come this way because I didn't get a lot of money. And I suppose I've become a server to the community. And I think we need a farm team, just like they did with the Miami Heat, which is a 20-year-old white basketball player. But black lives do matter. He's surrounded by senior black guys who play well, and some foreigners too, you know, from other countries, other cultures. That's because the guy who is the president of the Miami Heat has groomed so many different people since when he was in Boston with the Celtics. He's had a very great basketball player. We've been through so many different phases in my life of fame and fortune. And I want to tell you how empty it is, but you don't want to get I don't want to sound too negative. But you know, when you are seeking fame and fortune, it's not what you think it is. That's what I always tell everybody. Meditation is not what you think. Your mind is going to go somewhere. We called it, I think I had a guy on the show who used to have a talking stick. And that's the way the Buddhists do it. They hand you a stick and then you talk and then you hand it to another person and you listen. Boy, they could have used that on the debates the other night. They should have used that stick and slapped a couple of those guys the other night. Both of them deserve a good beating, you know. No, they have the talking stick, and the other thing is they call it monkey brains. Is when your brain is just also, it looks like a monkey. A monkey does whatever he or she wants to do. We have one in the zoo in Buffalo that used to throw crap at people. You know, you would try to be nice to the monkey. The monkey didn't want you around. He'd pick up his defecation. He threw his crap at you. Then now there's someone who should run for office. It's more honest. See, you know, you gotta. This is not a hate Trump speech. It's not an anti or a negative thing about Trump. It's an explanation that he is a personality from a long time ago in a galaxy far away. He inherited money and he did very well with business. I don't know how well or to what extent, but he did well. And he became famous on television as a reality host. Now, the people who are famous on TV for reality shows started with MTV Real World. You could go to the Kardashians, the latest of them. The Kiss had one. Ozzy Osbourne and his wife. There have been many of these reality shows. The Bachelor is one, the one where the ship goes out and people hired for a cruise, and there's that crew that's on there, and you get to know them, and you see their personalities and their sexual habits and everything else, and you get caught up in their lives. That's the drama. It's the soap opera of this generation, is the lifestyle of the rich and famous, which are shown on a daily basis on reality television. That's essentially it, with music and production and editing, because reality TV is not real. What a surprise, huh? And you have someone who's sitting there saying the news is fake, but he comes from fake news. He comes from the media, which is fake news. I mean, that's how you get famous. You get famous when you do something wrong or you do something great. It's extremes. We celebrate extremities rather than middle of the road, which is where many of us live because we're raising kids. Now, what's going to happen with our children when they see all this bickering of a president and a guy running for office beating each other up on television and being mean-spirited? What does that do to the kids who are watching TV, if they ever watch that at all? I don't think they ever watch it anyway. But if they're being modeled by our behavior, and if our families are this way, see, people came into this campaign of running for office already flawed. We are a flawed society. We came into it this way. This didn't just happen with somebody running for office. That's why we have all this acting out. You know, people who are strong about much ado about nothing. They have no say in it, but it gives them a voice. They want so badly to be recognized, like the bird behind me. You know, the bird is tweeting her brains off today. And, you know, I'm ignoring it. Why? Because what am I going to do? Go over there and put a gag order on the bird? Should I chase the bird away? Should I scold her? She's not going to listen to me any more than a voter. You don't change people's minds with voting commercials. You change people's minds with your behavior, because what you think and what you do are sometimes two different things. Kids never listen to what we say. They watch what we do because they're modeled by what we do. Most hate hypocrisy. That's saying one thing and doing another. Most hate that because it's a bad model, a bad message. So this is the psychology part of it that I'm talking about today. You know, this is the one on YouTube that I want. This is the Joe Talk. This is what I'm saying based on my experience, strength, and hope. And I'm sharing it with you. It's something that I speak from the heart and a little bit from my head, which is somewhat off. You know, I mean, I admit to that. I confess to that. I've had a great career so far, as I said earlier in this presentation, of being full of crap. And you know, when you get to the top, you realize that it's not what you thought. It's now you have another mindset. By the time you get to the top, your mind changes anyway. Joan Rivers said something to me very important when I worked with her at WOR years ago. She had the show that was on right before mine, and she said to me one day, "Joey, I don't know what you're trying to prove. You already made it. You made it to the top. Everything else is cream. You already made it. You became the #1 disc jockey in the country. That's point taken." It's like Black Lives Matter right now. Point taken. The Black Lives Matter, and now black people are the message is out, and people are changing. They're acting accordingly. Point taken. So this is what we need to do. We need to present our evidence, and we need to back it up, and we need to not be a hypocrite. How about that for raising kids? See, we need to raise this country, and you're going to raise the country by getting rid of all of these myths, these superstitions. And you don't have to push. As Stedman said to me, Oprah's former boyfriend, I don't know if there's still an item, but he said to me, you know, you don't push anybody, you pull them up. That's what you do. And I never forgot that, and I mention it every once in a while. He was a professor down in the Carolinas. He was a good teacher and a good gentleman. But you know, when I think of people who are modeling for me and who I am imitating, I have to tell you that I'm Frankenstein. I'm sewn together by a lot of bodies. Someone on the producers of Entertainment Tonight, Kevin Gershon, last night had one of these Zoom calls, and the question he was asking everybody of all about us guys, we people, men and women, who was your great who influenced you the most? And I was thinking about, I can't think of any one person. It's been a lot of people. You know, I'm still learning from people. What would I like to see happen right now? I would like to see us come together as one, so that we can finally agree on something. Let's at least agree that the virus is here and it needs to be cured, and even the guy who was running the country's got it. So now you're going to see him like the guy who ran England was, the former mayor and what is he, prime minister. He went through it a few months ago of having the virus, and he became a little more humble. You know, humility works. It's the opposite of pride. And you know, when you're standing there and you're pounding your chest like a gorilla, you better hope someone's going to throw you a banana, and they're not when you act like that. So I'm saying a lot of things, but this is, you know, fill it in. You know, you got a brain, and sarcasm is humor, because it's intelligence. People cannot be sarcastic if they don't have a way to put things together. That's sarcasm. That's humor. And sometimes it's mistaken for a meanness. It's sarcasm is sometimes interpreted as being an anger base, and it's not necessarily that. It's intelligence. Like I said today when I opened this thing, I said something positive finally came out of the White House. You know, that's sarcasm, and it's humor based on experience. It's based on putting thoughts together. It's not because I don't like Trump. It's because it's fun to put thoughts together and be clever. They're more ironic than they are funny. And this is the way that we were raised in our society. And now we have people who want to take that one moment and make it serious and frame it. Like the women's movement right now is very powerful. It's a wonderful movement. I love women who are well dressed and well behaved, but not because they are subservient, but because they carry themselves with dignity and class. I like it. I don't like low rent. I don't know if you. I like low rent when I'm paying the rent, but I don't like it around me with people. So we've become a little bit more of a low rent society. But listen to this one. We've had a lot of time together now for the last few months. Guess what happened? We've had to spend time with our families. They got to know us. We got to know them. They're in your face, and the kids. Kids have, now we finally notice them because you can't get rid of them. They're not going to school, and they are not going to go on the playground in the summer that we had. So you're going to spend time with them. If you are following the guidelines, you are teaching your children. Just like that Crosby, Stills, Nash and song. What was it? Teach your children. Yeah. All right. That's it for so far. It's about 13 lucky minutes of a philosophy based on my lifestyle. And what's your story? Mine is